Rosenstein is set to meet with the president Thursday.
What does all this mean for the Justice Department as a whole? And now we know Rosenstein will meet with President Trump on the exact same day, Thursday, that Brett Kavanaugh is set to answer questions about sexual assault. So tonight, let's merge the legal and the political, starting with Rosenstein here. For some perspective, we spoke with Tyler Grant, an attorney and political writer. Tyler, at this point, we don't seem to know whether Rod Rosenstein is going to resign or force the president to fire him. On Thursday, we should get some more clues. What's your hunch?
From what I've seen, from what I've read, it seems to be that he's going to require that the president fire him.
Why does it matter that he would be fired rather than resigned?
Well, it certainly raises a lot of constitutional questions whether or not the president can fire someone overseeing an investigation of essentially himself and the Russian collusion probe, as well as the Mueller investigation. This initially came about because the president fired James Comey. And if the president can continue firing people, it raises a question as to what the legitimacy of the investigation is and whether it's independent and fair.
It seems that in the deputy AG role, the one that Rosenstein, has always filled, that would kind of waterfall down to a deputy. But as far as supervising Mueller, what I've seen reported is that would then go to the Solicitor General, pretty much the lawyer for the U.S., Noel Francisco. If he has to recuse himself because he worked at Jones Day, which was related to the Trump campaign, that would then go down to Assistant AG in the Office of Legal Counsel Stephen Engel. Again, names that not everybody knows, but could potentially become really consequential.
Absolutely. I mean, the succession of it and the problems with the different relationships between the people and how people would be conflicted out, it's cascading at this point. If he's fired, it certainly is going to raise a lot of questions. And certainly on the Democratic side, there's going to be very, very strong calls for impeachment.
There is this Federal Vacancies Act that if someone has been appointed by the president and has been confirmed by the Senate, he could essentially draw anyone, the president, and put them in the role of Rosenstein, at least for now.
That's true. That's true. And that would raise a lot of the legitimacy questions. And, that would certainly create a larger tension than I think exists already between Sessions and the president, as he's already been pressuring Sessions to provide more of an oversight role over Rod Rosenstein, even though Sessions has recused himself.
Do you think the politics of this could be detrimental?
I mean, the politics and the optics of it are bad. I mean, the joke does provide him with a little bit more of legitimacy, but the 25th Amendment question is being raised because the president is doing some crazy stuff. And so people wonder about his capacity to be president.
And that's not to mention those who could be galvanized on the political left to actually show up at the polls in the midterms if they see this happening.
Oh, the polls are going to be just historic polling. I mean, we might not see a red wave, but people are going to come out more so than we've ever seen before.
What position do you think Kavanaugh is in at this point? Is it life support?
I'm not sure that it's life support necessarily. I think that the American people should be really frustrated with Senator Feinstein for her behavior, keeping this from the American public for so long. I don't look forward to a United States versus Kavanaugh public trial of sorts on Thursday. And I think it's certainly something that we haven't seen before since Clarence Thomas. But, I think the man is going forward and is not going to, pull out. It's going to be Trump having to make a political decision and calculation that I don't think that he's going to do.
Do you think that they could possibly get the Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Jeff Flakes of the world to put their necks on the line without clear evidence?
Well, I mean, Jeff Flake has nothing to lose. So I think Jeff Flake is going to call balls and strikes depending on what he sees happen in the hearing. And I think because of the elections that the other two are having, you're going to see sort of two different outcomes. And I think the main thing is that we want to live in a culture where we believe women and that we take sexual assault victims seriously, incredibly, because we haven't for so long. And when we have a situation where we're appointing someone for life to make decisions over a vast number of things, including like Roe v. Wade potentially, or a case like that, we need to be putting ourselves in a situation where we put the best candidate forward.
The balancing act is going to be incredibly tough, as many people on that Judiciary Committee have said. But as for leadership, Republicans are digging in on Kavanaugh, especially Senate Majority Leader Mitch